documentary, The Social Dilemma, explores how social media platforms have engineered addiction and privacy breaches to make profit, all while leaving their users with a negative effect on mental health. Buy or sell, venture capitalists need to advise founders to alter the addictive hacks that made them successful in the first place. Eric, I think you're a good candidate to start this off.
I'm going to go with sell. So while I agree that social media is really harmful and there's very strong addictive properties here, I'm not necessarily in agreement that design for addiction is necessarily poor. Let's say that we have founders who are trying to design for meditation, fitness, going outside, spending more time with their families, getting away from computers. There could be ways of gamifying that through these kinds of addictive methodologies that could be directed towards something that's much better for your life. So this is a loosely held opinion, but I think I'm going to lean on sell for this one.
Christy, do you agree with Eric here?
No, I'm in the buy camp. I think there's a new wave cresting when it comes to life on the internet. And there are companies building with a community mindset first. Some companies that come to mind are ones like The Grand, Top Knot, and a new emerger, which is called Mesh Communities. But ultimately, the reason why these companies are emerging is because users are demanding more from the platforms that exist. And so new entrants are coming to meet the need of social for 2020 and beyond. Buy, buy, buy.
Bye. Lolita, what side are you taking?
I'm taking the buy side. I am totally bought into what Christy said. The Grand, the Knot, Mesh. I mean, these companies are thinking about community, and I mean, I'm part of the community fund. So I love this because it's true. People really care about what kind of stuff companies are doing. And so I really believe that companies, especially when they reach a certain size, they need to be held accountable for negative implications that it can have on users and customers. And also, as an investor, I wouldn't want to be caught promoting mind-fucking customers. Can I say that?
You did, and we're using it. I like it. Eric, you're getting ganged up on here. You got any rebuttals to Christy and Lolita?
I don't think we're really talking about the same thing here, right? So there's no disagreement that things like privacy breaches and mining of user data in harmful ways to sell to advertisers like social media is really bad. And I'd like to see that stopping. But addictive behavior, I think, has a very broad definition. Ultimately, even the services that they've cited are going to be measured on things like time on site and engagement. And you have to use some of these methods to keep your users engaged and retained for a long period of time. So I think whether or not we agree on it or disagree is actually more that these methods are here to stay. And it's more about like, what is the ethical use of these methodologies that have been very established and effective in directing it towards better human behavior and better societal behavior.
I mean, I think, Eric, you're basically arguing for the buy side, I think, because honestly, like all we're saying is let's have companies be held accountable for the implications that happen in using these methods. And what you're saying, if they're positive, that's great. But if they're not, maybe something should be done. And that's exactly what I was saying.
I think the other thing to keep in mind too is that current metrics that we use to evaluate social platforms like engagement, time on site, user numbers, etc., are going to evolve as these platforms evolve. So we came up with those metrics as we saw these technologies and platforms rising. And I think now that founders are developing new ways to bring people into social on the internet, there will be new ways to measure engagement that may not necessarily be about an infinite scroll or about number of page views, clicks, or likes. And it could be about the value brought to life, both online and offline.
Good points all around. All I ask is when we clip this and I tag you guys to like it, maybe reshare it, I don't know, then you will use the pop-ups and it'll all work out well. For us, at least. That's good.